This is recording for some reason.
Welcome to Curiosity Public. My name is Dutch.
My name is Jules.
Dalen.
And welcome to yet another episode of our Ultimate Spirits Competition, our quest to review every sitting spirit on the face of the planet and subject to our crazy hard 100-point scoring system. In this episode, we are reviewing Frey Ranch Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Do you guys know about this?
Never heard
It's
of
from Nevada.
It's from Nevada, outside of Reno, I think, up there. They do a whole, grain to bottle thing. They grow all their own grains. They distill all their own stuff. They age it all, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited every time I see one of these things. However, I rarely find one that really blows me away. So I'm hoping for good things for this. Let's take a look at the bottle. Wow, the bottle is heavy, I got to tell you guys. A cool looking design. This one kind of stands out a little bit. I like the yellow label. There's a lot of info on the label as well. It gives you the full breakdown of the grains that are in here. As you can see, it's 66.6 non-GMO corn, 10% winter wheat, 11.4% winter rye, and 12% two-row barley malted on site. Whoa. Proof point is only 90 proof, which, not bad for a bourbon. This is batch number 2 of their straight bourbon, non-chill filtered. Feel this bottle, dude.
Whoa.
It's seriously heavy.
I like the weight.
I mean, I like the design. I like the bottle. It stands out on the shelf. Pretty cool. But that doesn't matter as much as what the inside is like. So I'm going to get this poured. They've got an interesting lineup. I've had they have a cask strength single barrel, which I've tried at a whiskey vat. But of course, we don't review single barrels because whatever we review may be very different from what you end up getting. But this is one of their regular production products, and we thought, you know what? Let's give it a review. Let's see how it is. Dylan, what do you got?
It's aged, I think, 4 to 5 years. I mean, I think it's one of those craft distilling, up and coming companies. So I'm always excited to see. I mean, Nevada's become, they're on the map because of Smoke Wagon, and it's, interesting things are coming out of there. We love going to Vegas, so maybe we should swing by to Reno.
Yeah, a little out of the way, but maybe. What's the price point on this?
$45.
$45. All right. Now, as a taste-off for this, we are going to, for our members of Curiosity Private, be comparing this 90-proof craft distillery with this 90-proof, readily available for most people, macro distillery product. So we're going to be comparing this to regular old Buffalo Trace, a 90-proof product from Buffalo Trace Distillery, and just see, what happens. Now, again, it's not a 4-grain, but look, if the goal of the might of the craft distiller is to compete with the big boys, let's see how it does head-to-head. So if you're a member, you'll be able to check that out. If you're not a member, we're going to get right into this review right now. And if you want to consider joining, just hit that button down below or head over to Patreon.
Oh.
But is it better than Glenfiddich?
I think not.
All right, guys, we've had some time to taste. We've had some time to score. We've all scored this independently. We've reviewed it. We've written down our notes. We've written down our scores. We're going to discuss them in a second, but first, Jules is going to tell you all about our scoring system.
100 points, about 10 categories. That include aroma, flavor, body complexity, balance, finish, uniqueness, drinkability, aesthetics, and value. Flavor, we weigh at 20 points. Aesthetics and value at 5 points each. You can medal in the competition, score 60 and above. You go from bronze, silver, gold to diamond.
My initial score, before we've discussed it, of course things can change as we talk about it and talk through it. My initial score, 73.
78.
71.
Okay, so we're all in the 70s. What's going on? Jules is being super generous all of a sudden.
I guess he loves the winter wheat or winter.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, let's talk about it. Let's start with the aroma. Arguably one of the best components here.
I completely agree.
Yeah. So interesting.
Really interesting.
So interesting.
So good.
I finally narrowed it down to honeyed watermelon.
Well, I would say
With some grain. And a slightest bit of frunk. Bing.
Yeah, you know what? I like the fact that you brought that up because I think you do nose the wheat.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, because it reminds you of the Weeders, right?
Yep.
You get the honey.
Yep.
You get the honey, but I do think that it's the grape skin. I think it's more of the grape skin. I didn't get like the watermelon type of flavor. I also got apricot. And the thing that was missing, I think, is the jam component. I got the stewed fruit though, so it wasn't concentrated sugars or putting in extra white sugar, things like that. I got the peach. I got basically the stone fruit type of flavor profile. I gave it an 8. I thought it was solid.
Very solid. Yeah, I agree. Okay, moving on to flavor. I just wished that it was as robust as the nose, and it wasn't for me. I gave it a 16. Still good.
I give it a 17.
I gave it a 16.
Yeah.
I gave it a 16.
There's a lot here. It's pleasant. It's good. The honey carries through, but the interesting fruits, I'm missing them. There's not a ton of grain.
I wish I had more of that honey on the palate. Like every time, what's really lovely about this?
Some of it.
I love the aroma. The aroma is great.
Aroma's
but then the
fantastic.
palate kind of lets us down, and I don't know if it's because, I wonder if this was aged, let's say, 4 more years, right? Or maybe get it to 10 year. You can even out some of the harshness that you taste, and then you finally get that. You translate the honey aroma onto the palate, and I wonder. There's an excitement there.
I think even like 3 or 4 more years, get it to like 7, 8 years, bump up the proof a little bit, and I think you got a winner.
Yeah, I think you can do it. Yeah.
Any notes on the palate?
Yeah, no, the thing I wrote down is actually what it reminded me of is like, Korean barbecue.
Drumstick?
What? No.
Shawarma? What is it?
Cinnamon.
Oh, cinnamon.
So it's like, like that cinnamon tea thing you get.
the
you see at the
jujube
end.
tea?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's what this reminded me of, actually.
I wish I got that. I didn't get any spice. I think that's kind of what threw me off. Is
I got a little bit.
there was
It's a hint of it. That's why, though. It's like that drink.
It's funny. I get that in the aroma,
me too.
but not on the palate.
I don't get it very much in the palate either. Okay, guys, moving on to body. I gave it a 6.
I gave it a 7.
I gave it a 7.
Yeah.
I agree
It was
with you.
decent mouthfeel.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I wanted more. For me, like the middle of this thing, just the bottom kind of just dropped out, and it affected the finish and it affected the body for me. Like the tail was good, and the front of the palate was good, and then like everything in between was just felt lacking.
It was not thin.
Yeah, it was not
at
thin.
all. And I felt like
It wasn't an overwhelming viscosity either. Though,
yeah,
so,
and the thing is the way it coats it, even though obviously there are some flaws, it's there.
Yeah.
It's always there.
Right.
It is.
It's consistent.
It's consistent. That's right.
Consistent. It just struck me as thin.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, complexity 7.
7.
I gave it a 6. I gave it a 6.
I think that the distinct honey and the fact that there was some grain and some fruit in there, I gave it. I gave it the points.
Hint of spice.
Yeah, and the hint of spice.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff here. There's some good stuff here.
I struggled with this because I felt like the complexity and the aroma was just kind of above and beyond. But the palate is where it failed because it was harder and harder to make a distinction. Like all of the peach, the stone fruit, the stewed fruits, all of that stuff that I was able to identify on the aroma. Every time I tasted it, I could not identify it. And so the complexity number just kept going down.
Well, that's what I kind of meant by the bottom falling out. Like, I feel like the nose, there's all this stuff. And then the first hit on the palate, it's very promising. And then it just the bottom falls out. And then the very end of the finish is still very nice. I don't know. That's still how I think of this thing. And I don't know. It's a weird experience. But let's get on to balance. What was here, I thought was relatively well balanced. 7.
It was good enough. 7.
I give it a 7.
That's right. That would be great. Yeah. There's nothing that's out of whack.
Yeah. It's still
And it's
pleasant,
above average.
right?
Well above
it's
average.
It's not terrible.
No, it's good. Yeah. It's good. All right, moving on to the finish. I would have been lower, but for the fact that like the very, very end of the finish, what lingers, to the next sip at the tail of the finish is quite pleasant. I give it a 7.
7.
I give it a 6.
Oh.
I could see that though.
Yeah, it's short and it's
It is
sweet,
short.
Yeah.
but then nothing more.
But
and,
I think
the
about-
sweetness is not a fruit sweetness though.
I have like a almost like a honeycomb type flavor lingering on my palate still,
I cannot-
and that's why I gave it the extra point. I think.
I'm not getting that honey.
'Cause I'm getting
not
that
it's a
lingering-
sweetness for sure. Maybe a little bit of brown
It's not a
sugar.
coating like, it's honeycomb. That's why I like
I'm not getting rid of the fruit juices.
the
I'm not
core.
getting rid of
Yeah,
the
the
fruit.
core.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a 6 for me.
Okay, guys, uniqueness. 7. I gave it a little bit of points for this and the story and the fact that it's grain to bottle.
I give it a lot of points for that. I give it a 9
Wow.
because it is like,
Did I say 7? 7 for me. Sorry.
Yeah, 9.
9. What'd you give it?
Okay, I give it a 6. The reason I gave it a 6 is that I think
No, that tracks because I gave it a bonus point.
I
for
think
this stuff.
so.
me
The 4 grain is unique. Okay, and I didn't even take into account the bottle that much. But what I would say is that the thing that I'm worried about is that this can get lost amongst everything else on the shelf. I feel like if you only judged bourbon by the aroma, this for sure will stand out. Okay, but then if you were to just do the palate and do it blind, I don't know if this is going to just say, okay, this is like, I'm here and I'm going to be standing out and I'm going to be unique. I'm just not getting that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I do feel like that at the $40, $50 mark, there's so much stuff in bourbon. Right. And will this stand out? I don't know, but at the same time, I also appreciate that they didn't bottle it at like 100 proof and mark it up to like $200.
Exactly.
Which I feel like people
still at a reasonable price. And then
reasonable
you're
price.
getting the transparency.
You're getting a great
the offering,
bottle.
the bottle looks awesome.
Yeah, I did give it that. I think that's why I'm a point higher
that.
than you.
Yeah.
I think that's what gave me to the 7 over the 6, but I don't really quite understand the 9. But,
I don't get the 9.
Where else do you guys go from farm to bottle?
There are other brands. They're just below the radar. Yeah. And this is mostly below the radar. You wouldn't have heard of this unless I brought it, right?
Agreed.
That's why it's unique. You haven't heard of like McKinsey?
That's why it's unique to me.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I can't argue with that. Drinkability, 7.
8.
I give it a 7.
I could sip on this. Not necessarily what I'm going to reach for, but if I had a bottle of this and I'm watching a movie, I would have a couple of these. It's quite pleasant. Yeah. It's enjoyable.
It's fine.
It's good.
It's enjoyable.
It's fine. More of a background bourbon than a foreground.
Yeah,
I agree.
The nose is spectacular, but
you almost want to nose it more than drink it.
I agree. But sitting down watching the movie, you could easily knock a couple of these back. Like, easily. As Jules does right now. Okay, guys. Aesthetics, full marks for me, 5. I love this bottle.
4.
Give it a 5. You're insane.
This is such a unique bottle. It looks like a beehive.
How do you give it a 9 in uniqueness?
It's like a beehive.
It's not just the bottle for me. It's also the story.
Just pick it up again. Can you even pick it up?
Yeah, it's great. Well,
it's really awesome, dude. I really like it. I mean, I like every detail of it. I think this has got a good weight. It's got a good heft. It's a cool design. The Frey Ranch logo on there. Yeah. The information on the label.
Exactly.
Dude, no, but this is what craft distilleries need to be doing. And the ones that aren't, the ones that are just buying a bottle off the shelf, slapping a label on it. No, this is a 5 through and through. All right. Okay. Value 3.
4.
I give it a 3.
Yeah, I want to go higher, but I
can't.
I just can't.
Really?
There's so many things in that $20 to $50 range, and I just don't see this standing out too much right now.
Yeah.
The cask, if they did again, higher proof blend. If they had that, if this was like 100 proofer, then the flavors intensified. I could easily see everything jumping in these things because this is a great core here, and I want to see what they do. Yeah, but this one just didn't do it for me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting because you can see the potential.
Yeah, really can.
And I'm excited about kind of their well aged, maybe a blended product. Yeah. Even
that's what
45.
That's what I love about it because sometimes I have craft things and there are things in that base initial release that I feel like, okay, they got to fix this, they got to fix that. Yeah. Here's an off-putting flavor. They got to get that grain out of there. This doesn't really have that. Yeah. This just has things that needs to make louder.
Yes.
And that's what it is. It's like
the only thing that's missing is time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I feel like all the flavors are trying to come out.
Yeah.
But I think it'll come out when it just sits in the barrel a little longer.
Sits in the barrel a little longer, get a little bit more proof. But, I understand that for the market, a 90 proofer makes sense.
Right.
And I'm not going to knock them on that just for the fact that I like higher.
That's why I give it a 3. Yep.
All right, guys, let's get our final tally. I ended up at 73. Stayed at 73.
78.
71.
Which gives us our official Curiosity Public Ultimate Spirits Competition score for Frey Ranch Straight Bourbon Whiskey. That's what it's called, right? Yeah, non-chill filtered. 74.
Nice.
Solid silver. I'm impressed by that. That's really, really good for the first offering from these guys.
Well, it's batch 2.
Batch 2. Well, yeah, sorry, but one of the initial offerings. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to get ready to compare this to Buffalo Trace for our members. Jules, take us out.
Tell us what you guys think in the comments below. Just thumbs up or thumbs down. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
This is down, that's up.
Yeah, whatever. Remember, subscribe for more videos from Curiosity Public. If you want to help our channel out, we truly appreciate it. Please consider joining Curiosity Private, our membership program here on YouTube. We are also on Patreon. And please look at our t-shirt shop. You can buy any one of these. And we do have a podcast on all the major podcast platforms out there. As always, stay safe, stay healthy.
Stay curious.
Curiosity
Public?
Public question mark?
I want to know like the algorithm going on in Jules' brain when he goes through this.
There is none. It's like Anchorman. Just trying to read the teleprompter and then I still screw it.
We need a teleprompter. You want a teleprompter?
We can do that. We can do that.
I have a teleprompter.
You do?
I do.
Is it one like the president has?
Yeah,
Nice.
Where'd you get that?
I have one.
And we just have the scoring criteria.
Yeah, we just put everything I need to say.
And the closing
even
credits.
need me.
And we just hit a button and it pops up. And Jules can nail it then.